those who don't know me, my name is Childs. I'm one of the account executives here in North Carolina State. Also in the state, we have Andrew Norris back there. He's actually here in Wilmington, covers most of the guys down in the Charlotte area. We have Earl Wingle, who lives with me in Raleigh, who covers most of this eastern side of the state as well. So again, I thank you guys for coming. Really just kind of, I don't know if you all went to see Mr. Mitnick last night or yesterday. So this is sort of a continuation of what he kind of scared the bejesus out of yesterday. So, but this is about our connected security solution. So this is not a sales pitch. Really is more of an awareness type situation for you guys. And I'm not going to steal any of Chris's thunder here before he gets started, but I wanted to let you guys know that first week of June, starting on the 2nd, we're going to have a continuation of this conversation in Durham. And on the 3rd, we're going to be in Charlotte. And then on the, I believe, you guys want to go down to Charleston, South Carolina. So the 2nd and 3rd, 2nd being in Durham, it's going to be at the Duke Golf Country. I didn't know they have a golf resort out there, but they do. And then Charlotte is going to be at a restaurant. Ruth's Chris, I believe. But either way, get with your Dell rep. Again, it's going to be a continuation. Again, it's not going to be a sales show. We're going to have breakout sessions of what our connected security story is going to be about. So very, very pumped up to see it. So see you guys out there. So that's it.
Cool. Hey guys, can everybody hear me okay in the back? I hate microphones. I'd rather just have a sore voice in the afternoon. Yeah, so by way of introduction, my name is Chris Vasquez. I'm a 13-year Dell veteran. Been around pretty much every organization our team has had. Most excitedly, in the last several years, we started acquiring security companies. Kind of, dating myself, but kind of establishing, my familiarity in the sector. Does everybody remember? I don't see any really young kids in here, fortunately. Everybody remember what a BDS was? That was my old claim to fame. A buddy of my dad's, he actually wrote TDBS software, Wildcat, the old ones. I actually had an old Commodore and an Amiga BDS. And it was pretty cool. Whenever you would download or you come into my site and you wanted to play games, I made you download a script, and that script would capture your credentials for authentication. Kind of ironic, I wrote a keylogger, I didn't even realize it, right? So as a security guy going, I could have gotten in trouble nowadays. So yeah, it's interesting to see where security is going. So the deck we're going to go through today is going to give you some insight what Dell internally has thought about doing, and we're correlating and delivering that to the market. I'm going to try to avoid product pitch. I don't think product pitch is appropriate, but I do want to introduce you to technologies and vectors and how we're trying to tie everything together. So let's have a little trivia question. Forgive me, I usually do Starbucks gift cards, and in this beautiful town of Wilmington, I can't find a Starbucks. Does anyone know where one is? There is one. I've had to give in to Dunkin' Donuts, which... All right. Thank you. All right. I hear there's this thing called navigation on my Android phone, so it is what it is, yeah. So I guess we're now at 31 years. 31 years ago, Dell started doing what? Well, I don't want a Dell employee to say this. Who said it? PCs. 10 years later, we did what? Well, we did laptops about 5 years after that. 10-year servers, data. Yeah, so basically we'd say, hey, we'll sell you this wicked cool PC, we'll sell you this wicked cool server and data, and we say, good luck to you. Go run Microsoft on it, go find your own VPN technology, go do your own encryption, go do whatever you want. We're going to sell you some cool hardware, processor memory, and we were done. But then we said, wait a minute, customers are coming back to us going, how do we really start doing this? How do we start tying it all together? How do we start connecting everything, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's set the stage. I found this really cool website. If you guys have ever been at privacyrights.org, I definitely recommend you bookmarking it. Every major publicly announced breach is on there. These two are public ones. County Sheriff's Department, anyone ever heard of CryptoLocker? They nicked it up a dirty word, yeah. These guys actually paid up. They actually paid their rent. They said they had to get their data back. This is a hack who's a data hostage. Somebody actually was able to use an intrusion event, took over the PC, and this was more of a ransom attack.
Hey, that song.
That was the next slide. Wait a minute, what just happened? So, it's one of I can be this guy that can do 50 power slides, or PowerPoint slides of all the threats that have been out there, but I think we get what is out there. We get what is happening, and we get that there's not a vertical that's not being affected. I think just last night another major healthcare company. So why I say why you need to be aware. You know, is there any organization here that doesn't have to meet HIPAA compliance? Okay. Is there anyone in here that doesn't have to meet PCI compliance? All right, so there's things that are out there. The reason you need those compliance is because there's threats and there's valuable data on your network, right? So, anybody remember WordPerfect? Does anybody still use WordPerfect? No law firms, do you really? So maybe attorneys, lawyers, they still love it. Dell still sells it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's all, yeah, they won't change. They have rotary dial phones. Remember Lotus 123? Yeah, that's a wicked great spreadsheet. I like Corel Draw, yeah. What about Quattro Pro? You use that? What replaced all this? Say it out loud.
Microsoft.
Microsoft Office. These were all the top vendors at the time. They're still there. I mean, these products are actually still there. You can actually still go buy these, but nobody does because people wanted a cohesive, coherent, logical solution. What's Dell trying to do with security? I want to help you deliver the Microsoft Office security, and that's what Dell developed internally to do this. We're building our security strategy in 4 different pillars. We're addressing the users, the network, the data, and we're tying it together with logical services. These are all coming together with 3 core tenets of security, 2 of which you're having to do today. Comply and protect. This sounds exactly like what you're doing. I have to comply to policies. I have to protect my end users. But have you ever been able to say enable in security? Somebody comes to you and says, hey, we wanted to put, oh yeah, don't worry, I've already got everything set up for you. I can help you enable it. That's never been a work we do because then you're out hunting for different technologies to make it work. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try to drill down into these and talk about what each of these represents. So going into the users, is anyone familiar with the term identity and access? Has anyone started dwelling into identity and access? No? Let's talk about what identity. So has anyone ever experienced the employee lifecycle? So you hire new staff, going to work on your team, maybe they get a promotion. And they continue through their career. And maybe they leave. Let me give you another example. Maybe you had an admin, you know, that great root level access, but then they move on to a manager role where they should lose that root level access. Has that ever happened in the organization? Managing what credentials they have? You know, we're already tasked with having to wait. I got to keep PCs running, I got to keep servers running, I got to keep networks running. Now you want me pruning AD credentials? Think about it. Managing lifecycle. So the way we talk about these 3 pillars, can anyone tell me what access management means? What do you think access management means in your network? It's all look pretty familiar, right? How about identity governance? It's all familiar terms. Nothing new to you guys, it's just obviously framing it. What's privilege management? What's the one level of access I as a hacker would want on your network? Yeah, you got it, you nailed it. Yeah, identity, IAM is an industry term. There's actually tools for this. It's interesting because whenever you start thinking about it, as people shift within the organization, people leave the organization, you know, how do you control it? How do you manage it? Do you grab that Excel spreadsheet? Do you grab that old Outlook task file and go, okay, I gotta do this, this, and this? Or do you think of this as a security routine? Let's talk about data and endpoint. We added a 6th. He's going to sit somewhere right in here as of this week. I'm still trying to wait on the blurb on it. But we talk about data at rest as the first thing. Who are the 3? Well, I don't want to be unfair. There's some major PC manufacturers out there. Let's leave it at that. Dell is the only company that can actually do a self-signed certificate in our factory at the BIOS level signed by ourselves. Thank you, SecureWorks. We'll talk more about that. That's a very elegant solution whenever you start going, where do I make my decision about security? Where do I actually look at root certificates? We're the only company that does it because we are a security company that just happens to start building PCs 31 years ago. At the factory, we actually deploy our products with a technology called DDP. You can uninstall it if you don't want it, or you can capitalize on it. We start with a technology called encryption. It's nothing new. We've all heard of it. Who's encrypting data? Why do we encrypt data?
Yeah, there
you go. That's the right answer. I try to say it's if somebody steals my laptop that I left on the trade show floor, but you know, really, it's because people are stealing equipment. People are stealing data. This could be something as, hey, you stole my laptop, or hey, somebody inadvertently sent you a file that should have been, right? What I'm going to tell you is phase 2 that's coming after this is actually announced this week. we'll be delivering an AV technology, actually a signature-based technology, which is elegant in its own way, but it's not really where I want to take you further. So again, encryption will actually have AV. Anyone ever heard of these vendors? Aren't these nightmares on your network? This can go straight to a 4-letter word. I'm an Android geek, so those of you that like this guy, I was kind of thrilled when iWatch said it was breached. That was kind of cool. I'm a Google geek, but inherently Google is one of the biggest threats right now. Everybody goes, oh yeah, I use WSUS. Okay, great. So what are you doing for this, and this, right? So Altiris, LAN, all these tools. You hear about systems management and how great it can solve all your issues. I want it for patch management, right? Because I get to sell and talk about security technology because of vendors like this. Because software is not patched, software is not developed. They're developing software to stay cutting edge, stay fast, they want to make it work. They're not sitting here going, oh yeah, I forgot to patch that hole, right? Anybody have issues provisioning or managing devices, Android or iOS, out in the field that people are trying to use? They're trying to come onto the network. How do we provision them? How do we load them? Yeah. This is a really interesting concept. People have seen this product from us. This is the second vector. We have 3 vectors in how we're trying to protect the endpoint. The first vector is signature-based, like I told you. That is how we started looking at viruses in the 1980s, right? It's important that we use it. It's not going anywhere, but there are different ways around it. Protected workspace is a different concept. Think about VDA for a minute. What's VDA? Application virtualization. Anybody doing it? What's the benefit of it? Yep, cool. What's the benefit of it? Nice thin provision, sends out an application. If it gets boogered up or patched, you just blow it away, start anew, right? What if there was a technology that actually could reside on your desktop, transparent to your end users, that encapsulates those applications that could be a threat? So what applications did we talk about that are vulnerable? See those little icons again? Adobe, Flash, Java, Microsoft. What if I could encapsulate those? This is not virtualizing, encapsulating on the PC that if an attack did happen and it did compromise one of these, within an instant I could restate that application back to its clean state. This is not signature-based, this is compromise-based, and I'm bringing it back. The signature stops the virus, the encapsulation resets the application. Encapsulation resets the application. This is awesome. This is a new technology we brought to market. Vector 3, advanced endpoint threat detection. Anybody ever thought about watching the watchers, watching the hackers? Oh yeah, I've got AV, right? Yeah, right. This is kind of cool. This is new. But what about people that are just kind of sniffing around? What if people have used an intrusion to get on your network because you still refuse to put an IPS, or the city refuses to give you money for IPS, and they're now on your system, and they're kind of screwing around with that registry. Why do they screw around with the registry? Because they're trying to delete log files of where they logged in your machine. Who watches those guys? So we have a technology where we put a sensor on desktops, laptops, anything with a registry or with an OS. And if something smells like a duck, works like a duck, you're going to get a call. Proactive threat assessment for the clients. This is the third vector. I'm looking at signatures, I'm encapsulating the vulnerable, and I'm watching things that could be changed on that thing. What is the one biggest threat on your network? Yes. I'm giving you 3 vectors to protect them. That's huge. Let's talk about the network itself, right? So I'm a network specialist. This is kind of where I get to geek out for a minute. These are your top malware of last year. We actually announced this in one of our big briefs. Where was mine? I'll admit I was number 2, or number 1, my Androids, but Microsoft's there if they're not in the room. iOS has been hit. Point of sale's big. A lot of cities go, well, we don't use, well, yeah, you do, because the city has a point of sale station right out here if you're parking. So point of sale is definitely one of your big ones. Top delivery methods are still emails, number 1. Number 2 is web download. SMS is one of those odd ones. I tell my wife to quit clicking links. You know, that's one. And portable devices. Obviously your mobile, iOS, and Android. So, email security. Do we get the concept of email security? Why do we use email security? There's 2 reasons, 2 major reasons, other than compliance, which that's obviously probably supersedes everyone. But what's the one major reason people own email security?
Spam?
Spam. Yeah, everybody goes, oh, 10 million emails a day down to about 10,000. That's great, but it's really for viruses. It's to stop malware, right? Because it's not only, people go, well, wait a minute, people are really attaching malware in there. It's not that it's those damn links that people are sending out and they're using phishing attacks and they're allowing the links. So email security is just big, big, big. As you're looking at bolstering your security solution, look at how email security works. Look at what it's defending against. Look at how it's containerizing potential threats. Look at how it's looking at phishing algorithms. This is still the #1 threat vector. Near and dear to my heart are next generation firewalls. Does anyone know what a next generation firewall is? Does anyone own a next generation firewall? I see a few of my customers in here, right? So if you're still using a traditional firewall, there are network security appliances out there. So again, we just agreed that our end users are our biggest threats, right? So with our end users being our biggest threat, we have to start thinking about other ways to protect. Protecting the wire is one of them. So your next generation firewalls include your IPS sensors, include your malware inspection. This is kind of an interesting vector. Does anyone actually inspect encrypted traffic on your network? No. Yeah, oh, you do. Fantastic. I'm glad I got one hand. Thank you. I feel safer on your network. It's kind of scary. Does anyone permit Gmail on the network? Nobody wants to admit it, but half of you do it. Is Gmail encrypted or unencrypted? It's encrypted. Yeah, Gmail uses a 512 hash. They're actually pushing to 1024. There's a new vulnerability. Did you hear about it last night? Where there's a man in the middle. I'm trying to figure out how they're using it. But even sites that are using 1024 ciphers, they're trying to recycle them down to 512s, which they've analyzed that even some of today's supercomputers can break in about 8 seconds. It's kind of scary what they're trying to do with encrypted. What does encrypted traffic mean? So I'm on Gmail. I'm one of your employees. I'm very innocent. I'm out on Gmail just reading about my friend's dog. And my friend's dog accidentally sent me a link on there because it looks legitimate. It redirects me to another encrypted site. That encrypted site could be part of a Tor network, it could be part of a malware phishing attack, and I've now downloaded something because my Flash browser, my Flash is out of date, and I have malware on your network and you don't know any different. You have to decrypt encrypted traffic. There are technologies out there that can do that. 4443 means they are safe from you seeing what they're doing. Make sense? Threats are going across this board. We're seeing, I think it was something to the tune of 30 to 40% of bots on your network. Does anyone have a bot on the network? Everybody have a bot on your network. I'm going to tell you now, my Android has a bot on it. I put it there. Bots are communicating outbound over 4443. They're pinging command and control, using themselves for DDoS over encrypted channels. This is a huge vector. Think about encrypted traffic. Secure mobile access. So we talked a little bit earlier about data at rest being encrypted, right? Does anyone allow connectivity outside the network? That whole concept of data in flight or encryption in flight. Does anybody allow VPNs? Are we doing anything real aggressive where we're saying, hey, you are on this type of device and you can only see this, or are we just giving kind of traditional layer 3 access? A little bit of both, okay. I've got customers that are sitting here going, man, I've got city managers, I've got sheriffs, I've got all these different people wanting all these different devices and all these different types of control. Well, what if I could deliver you a technology that says, okay, I'll let you on that network, and I'll let you on our intranet, and I'll let you use Safari, or I'll let you use this app. And when you fire up that app, it's going to fire up a tunnel, but only for that protocol, only for that port, only for that app. That's called app VPN, the technology that the industry is looking at it right now. The technology is here. We can use this. Let me talk about services for you. So we're actually flying through. Before I can service any questions, so I'm actually flying. He told me I only had 15 minutes. You guys can thank him. So as part of our services offering, I want to introduce, we actually flew her all the way from New York. So if you guys don't understand her, don't worry, she doesn't understand our southern accents either. But she's part of our SecureWorks team. So by way of introduction, I'm going to let Tracy Fry's going to go through. Freeze, sorry. We're in the South, we eat fries. I'm going to let her kind of go over how we manage SecureWorks and what this brings to the table.
Hi everybody. So how many of you guys in here has heard of SecureWorks, Dell Security Services Organization? Okay. So SecureWorks has been around for about 15 years. Dell acquired them about five years ago. I used to do what Kevin and Drew did in North Carolina, and I moved back up to Buffalo to join the SecureWorks division. We've got a 98% retention rate, customer retention rate. Our customers love what we do and just keep coming back year after year. We were recently ranked by Gartner in December 2014 as the leaders in the MSS space. So in the global managed security services provider space, we are the leaders. And here they're kind of broken down into 4 pillars. We have the managed security services arm. That's where we're looking at your network and monitoring your network or managing your network 24/7 by 365. We've got a 15-minute SLA on any security incident that we see. We will notify you guys proactively, whether it's 3 in the morning or 8 in the morning. We kind of set those standards up together. That's our managed security services arm. We've got more things in it, such as the advanced endpoint threat detection that Chris was talking about. We've also got our incident response. So if you guys get breached, you call us. If you want to do something more proactively, such as put a retainer in place, so if you get breached, you guys can call us, or if we're monitoring your network, we call you. And within 24 hours or 36 hours, we have a person on the ground ready to respond to your incident, doing forensics, and scanning your network to find out exactly what's going on. We have the security risk and consulting division of our organization as well. This is anything from the technical testing, so pen tests to vulnerability assessments. We do compliance, so PCI, HIPAA, FERPA, all those compliance you guys are mandated to. We do gap analysis and risk assessments for compliance. We kind of take that weight off your shoulders and help you and really hold your hand, get from here to here. We all know that you have to be, everyone has to deal with compliance, but that doesn't automatically mean that you're secure, right? We can help you meet that compliance, but in a secure way. Also, we have security awareness training that falls under that pillar as well. Are you Russian me?
I prefer American, but not Russian.
And then the last pillar is our threat intelligence. Good one. Is our threat intelligence division. So this is really the bread and butter. This is what makes our organization what it is. It's a team of about 72 researchers. We're, over the next 5 years, we're expanding that to 260. And these are the top of the top, ex-Cyber Command, Homeland Security, Department of Defense. These are the smart guys that are in the underground chat rooms. They're looking to see what the next threat is going to be. And they really fuel every single arm that goes on in our entire security platform. So just like Chris was talking about, when Dell brings an end-to-end security solution from hardware to software to services, within SecureWorks, within the services arm, we bring a full end-to-end offering as well. We don't just do incident response, or we don't just do managed security services. We bring a full end-to-end solution to you guys as well. So this is just at a glance. This is the only other slide that I've got. We've got 7 SOCs globally, 5 of which are located in the United States. What's really important for you guys is any of our customers that sign up with SecureWorks as a partner, all of your support is US based. There's no additional cost, no additional fee. So whether it's 3 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon, if you have to call into our SOC or our SOC calls you, you're always going to get a US based support person or a SOC analyst from the United States that's going to make that phone call. We're represented in over 70 countries and have, oh, you did update this slide.
Yes.
Have just over 4,000 customers. The reason why these stats are important, I'm not just another vendor standing up here saying this is how many customers we have, this is how many countries we're in. That data is really important because as we're looking at our customers' networks, at networks globally around the world, it makes your network that much stronger. As we see an incident or as we see something that's going on in China, or we see something that's going on the other side of the United States, we are updating your network in real time. And these analysts that are looking at your data, everything gets updated in real time and it makes your network that much stronger. So that's why that's really important to call out, where we're represented. We're not just local, we really have that global visibility. 200 plus software engineers, they've got all the security certifications. This is outside of the 72 researchers that I mentioned. 158K devices and 70 billion cyber events a day, and that's what we're kind of looking at. So really, just to kind of wrap things up from a security services perspective for SecureWorks, if you guys have any questions, stop by the booth. And really what we do, a lot of people get a little bit nervous as far as we don't really want to hire a managed security services company to just kind of take over our network. We really do look at it as a partnership. Everything that we do is completely customizable, completely customizable. We've got a customer portal that everybody can log into and have access to. We've got some customers that don't log into it ever, and we've got customers that are logging into it daily. We've got customers that say, I want somebody on my team to look at logs between 10 a.m. and 3 in the afternoon, but I want you guys to take over that log monitoring after that. So it's completely customizable. It truly is a partnership, and we will work with you on whatever your needs are specific to your environment.
Kind of ask good. Does anyone actually have somebody in your environment that can look at logs?
Or that wants to look at logs, and even that can make sense of what they're looking at, right?
Yeah.
So that expertise out there, that's really where we shine.
Yeah.
A lot of people have security people, maybe one, or how many people in here are doing jack of all trades, right? You don't even have, right,
Yeah.
all of you guys in here.
Yeah.
You know, how can you really make sense of the logs that you're looking at? When you partner with somebody like Dell SecureWorks, you're getting that team of 70 plus researchers, 200 plus software and security engineers that are looking at your network and constantly monitoring that for you. So, does anyone have any questions, comments?
Come on in, we're got the big end there. Yeah, guys, the way I look at this is, you know, we start talking about all these different technologies, and we start talking about what they represent. I'm sure a lot of you guys go, well, I've got a product that does this, and I've got this, and you know, I'm doing some of this, and I have no idea what he was trying to explain to me here. Some of you guys, and then I've heard of some companies. Those are companies that are standalone. Those are companies that are doing their own thing, their own vector. How strong can a product set be? And security is a issue. Security is a pillar. It shouldn't be point here. Think about how strong and robust something can be if I take the threat intelligence from one organization, I start taking the data gathering from another, and I start correlating them together. I've got Microsoft Office. See how it all starts tying together? It's really, really elegant the way everything's starting to come. So I've showed you this technology, and I've kind of told you, hey, I've got desktops. I can do signature-based BIOS certificates. I can start encrypting your data at rest. I can start moving it across the tunnels in flight. I can start doing some really cool things at the gateway. I can do all these cool things. Are you able to envision how you use this in the network? Let's talk about a way. Is anyone seen Dropbox, Box, iCloud, anything on their network? Yeah. What do you guys do? I mean, so I saw about 6 or 7 hands on here that said, yeah, we encrypt. But do you force encryption on the entire drive, or do you only use sectors or folders? How do you know what's going onto that cloud is encrypted? Do you have a means of actually forcing encryption as files traverse the network, or do they leave the network? So let's think about how I can use technology to do this. So again, we encrypt, let's just say I'm company XYZ. I don't encrypt the entire drive. I don't want the performance hit on that, but I am going to have certain sectors, I'm going to have certain folders that are, this is designated as confidential, right? Now, I know better than my security team, so I'm going to use Dropbox, I'm going to use OneDrive because I need to share with my customers, right? The problem is my company and the security guys are much smarter than me. They need to make sure these files are. So, have you ever seen a technology that can actually stop you from sending files? Or that can interpret, extrapolate, say, hey, this file is not encrypted. We take technology and basically as you send it up to our network security appliances, it goes, wait a minute, because of where you sit in that identity tool, outbound files are supposed to be encrypted. So what we do is we're actually going to log you in our change auditor and kind of slap you on your hand and say, wait a minute, that shouldn't have happened. There's an unencrypted file trying to leave this network that has this type of metadata. We're going to validate you off our identity tool. We're going to punch you back to the network level, re-encrypt, and then we'll permit it to send out. We're basically locking you down before cloud. So our whole theme here, how do we take you connected from on-premise to connected in the cloud, is integrating technology that understands what's traversing your wires and making sure based on the policy level it should have, it's doing the right thing. Has anyone ever heard of a network topology that goes, whoa, that's not encrypted, timeout, it should be. I'm reporting you, I'm logging you, and I'm going to encrypt it before I send it. This is what Dell's doing with the market. Once it's in the cloud, it doesn't really matter. We can set up a portal, so if somebody puts it on Dropbox, tries to go out to their phone, tries to go out to their personal drive, or they're dumb enough to put it in their Dropbox public folder, and we can set up a public registration where somebody actually has to set up keys. They go, hey, okay, I've got permission, I can download it, they can validate back off AD and IAM, and I'm in. This is how you use this technology. Let's talk about another use case. Anyone worry about, we talked about patch management. Anyone actually use patch management internally? Big Fix, any of these tools we've seen? Okay. Anyone use Microsoft's tool? Shout it out. SCC, there we go. System Center. So think about System Center, think about Altiris, think about any of them. It doesn't matter, they're all great tools, right? But what happens whenever you try to connect into a network? You are logging in by credentials, you're into the network. What if your Adobe's not patched? What if your security definitions aren't updated? You're in the network, right? Well, what happens when you try to actually VPN in the network that I've got a technology that can do endpoint control, scrutinize your device and say your AV is up to date, your definitions aren't up to date, your certificates don't match. I quarantine you, and now you're into our flavor of System Center to get you up to date. Now that you're up to date, everything matches, hashes, and we're set to go, and you're in the network, you're released and wild. Yeah.
Are there controls around that where you can define machines that you don't want to have current patches? Unfortunately, in state and local government, we're required to connect to the state.
Yeah.
Applications require Java version 5 and nothing more. So when that machine hits the network, we can't allow it to be updated.
Yeah. Yeah, so Dell fills that pain too. We've been around 30 years and we have apps that anyone that works at Dell, I think we have to have 4 versions of Java on the machine. It's a dirty word, man. It's evil. We've gotten around it in virtualizing some of our Oracle instances, our Sun instances. But to that point, yeah, you can create controls around. These are AD groups. These are MAC addresses. This is subnets. This is what you patch, what you don't update. As you try to log into the gateway, I'm going to scrutinize you certain ways, whereas I'm going to scrutinize these guys other ways. Oh wait, I'm going to scrutinize you a certain way because you're coming from a China IP address, yet you are supposed to be out by the coastline. That's pretty cool. Yeah, where we're getting into actually validating what the technology is. Yeah. Anyone have to, this is kind of a PCI requirement. I like this one because I think everyone should their heads here. This is basically, anyone look at the 3.0 requirements? 1, oh, where did 2 go? 2 was there, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are all technologies we do. Usually you go, I've got to go, you've got to go, okay, don't use vendor supply default passwords. All right, that's kind of a given, right? You have demo and password or admin and password. You know, protect cardholder data. You find yourself doing all these different technologies, but then you realize, wait a minute, I've got a partner that does all this. I've got that Microsoft Office. Yeah. So, really, guys, we're a leader. I started this out by saying we're a PC company. We are. We were a PC company 31 years ago. 10 years later, we did data. And then about 5, 6 years ago, Michael goes, guys, people are banging down our door. They trust us. We take care of them in their environments. We're giving that high resiliency, but we're not giving the ability to connect the dots. They're having to go do this themselves. And Dell found this out our own way. We had to kind of look at our own infrastructure and say, oh, we're using these routers, these switches. This doesn't make sense. This isn't coherent. It's costing too much. We're working with too many vectors. We're learning too many tools. We don't have the resources. Because even though I see a jack of all trades, I don't care what size organization you are, all of us have a finite amount of resources. If I can start bringing tools to drive efficiency, to start driving the ability to enable with an IT organization, we're going to be successful. Everything we're looking at is Gartner leaders. Don't let anybody tell you different. Every product we've talked about today is a Gartner leader. Everything that we're looking at today has a huge amount of visibility. Everyone's collaborating. I'm not just an encryption technology that goes, hey, I can encrypt your drive, hands off, and I'm done. I'm an encryption technology that is tied to a counter threat agency that is looking at threats real time coming out of China. How do we change and how do we tweak the code on just how we encrypt? Really cool stuff here. Thank you. We've got about 8 minutes, so we're going to double check if anyone didn't give us their card.
Yep.
We would like to give you the opportunity to win
Hands up.
a security appliance here.
Is this your first time coming in here?
I still got a car.
Get a trip to Buffalo? In the spring, not the winter.
What? Yeah, it's, so while we're collecting questions, comments, I like your comments about how we integrate or how we're doing this. Anything else? Anyone see relevance in this? Anyone kind of found pains in your network where something like this kind of makes sense?
How does Office 365 and stuff like, Google services, how does that apply and be relevant?
Yeah, so whenever you start looking at O365, remember our first challenge was going across encrypted channels? So everything going up to O365 is obviously using a couple of protocols over port 443. So your first step is decrypting that. So using, say, certificate handoffs where a network security appliance could actually decrypt that and control that. So to us, let's think about it. Let me just kind of have this. So my end user makes a request up to googledocs.com. Our appliance would intercept the certificate and decrypt that tunnel so we can have visualization. Now that I've got visualization, I can actually control what's happening, right? So at that level, I can make sure they're doing things they should or should not be with O365. With Gmail, that can be attaching files, not attaching files. If we do permit attaching a file, the network device would simply say, hey, you're trying to send a PDF, or you're trying to send a password-protected PDF. But because you're logged into my network topology from this IP range with this credential user, based on that, I see that you're trying to send something not encrypted. So very similar to this path, but the bigger thing here is extrapolating the tunnel that it's going across and being able to maintain visibility. But yeah, to us, it's just a cloud service. Going up to Google Docs is being able to say, okay, you're going to a Google Docs and not a box.net. But the big thing is just being able to see it. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah.
Any other ones? I like geeking out.
I just wanted to mention that as far from a secure work standpoint, if anybody is interested in coming to see one of our stocks, we're actually headquartered in Atlanta. We do stock tours. You can meet our research team, see the analysts, and we do like a full security day. I don't know if anybody's been to our EBCs that we do, but just contact either Kevin, Earl, or Andrew, and we can do a full security day for you guys in Atlanta and do a stock tour.
And if you guys, several of you have been by the booth, thank you very much for having us again. We've got a lot of this technology running live. One of our network appliances, we actually have public wireless stood up on Hotel Rex. And we're actually demonstrating what this topology looks like on the dashboard. So some cool stuff. And like I said, all of you tie somehow to a Dell team. Several of you work with Kevin. Just ask. We're happy to help you guys solve a lot of your challenges. So now what we're here for.
Real quick. So, again, thank you guys. I want to thank Chris. I want to thank Tracy for coming back down here. I miss you a lot. You always come back home.
Buffalo, Wilmington, it really wasn't that hard of a.
Let's vote, guys.
So data network's about to come in real quick. I'm reminded you guys were coming in a little bit late. First week of June 2nd, we will have a follow-up to this. We're calling it our Connected Security Roadshow. It's going to be in Durham. Please get with your account executive or account manager if you haven't gotten that invitation.
Projector, wedding,
I know it's Tuesday, Wednesday, I believe it's the 3rd of June. It'll be in Charlotte. I think it's Ruth Chris, but it will be somewhere in Charlotte. Again, get your account executive on that. Lastly, if one of you guys want to go down to Charleston, South Carolina, please let me know. Give me an excuse to go. I heard it's beautiful. We are doing one in Charleston, South Carolina that week as well. So again, not a sales pitch. All these 4 verticals that we talked about, it's going to be breakout sessions. We're going to deep dive into them to see how we can help you guys in your IT environment. So,
Cool.
With that said, who's trustworthy?
We're going to go back to our first good question.
Security session.
Come on.
Trustworthy.
First good question. Thank you very much. All right, here we go. Who's going to be our big winner?
So while we're
Trouble
looking,
if I pull my own?
Now you know what your card feels like. That's just
love
No,
this
I
device.
don't.
I've got 2 of them actually. This is the Venue Pro 8.
Ray Smith.
Who?
Ray Smith.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
We have a winner. We have a winner. Did I have a keyboard for you, sir? There is a Bluetooth keyboard that goes on there, and I have a nice port case for you as well. Congratulations. If you guys are looking for some more free stuff, ask Burl. He'll help you out. All right, guys, we appreciate it. I think Data Networks is coming in here next. Again, please stop by the booth and take a look at some of the technology